In this video, we're going to cover the futures markets for Monday, June 17th, 2024. If you are interested in supporting this channel and want to support me personally, please make sure to use the affiliate links in the description box below. Please make sure also to like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, guys, this is going to be a short one. I want to go through some of our news headlines. I want to take a look at some of our new all-time highs, so we're going to head over to Tradingview and the charts in just a moment. All right, starting with our headlines on financial juice, need to know market risk. Stocks reached all-time highs after a rally in the world's largest technology companies, with some prominent Wall Street strategists rushing to raise their targets, even as many hedge funds became more cautious. S&P 500 hits 30th record high this year. This is on U.S. Markets Wrap. Stocks reached all-time highs after a rally in the world's largest technology companies, with some prominent Wall Street strategists rushing to raise their targets, even as many hedge funds became more cautious. The S&P 500 set its 30th record this year, defying concerns about the market's narrow breadth, which could make it more vulnerable to surprises. As traders prepared for retail sales and a slew of Federal Reserve speakers, treasuries fell amid a flurry of high-grade corporate bond sales worth more than $21 billion, led by Home Depot. That comes ahead of Wednesday's Juneteenth holiday. Optimism about a resilient economy, improving corporate earnings, and the potential start of rate cuts have pushed equities up about 15% this year, with falling inflation and artificial intelligence fervor also driving equities higher. The S&P 500 surpassed 5470, with Tesla and Apple leading mega cap gains. The Nasdaq 100 increased 1.2% and approached the 20,000 mark. Micron Technology climbed to a new high as some firms raised their expectations for the chip maker. Broadcom jumped more than 5%. A couple other items I want to look at here. U.S. Treasury 2-year, 10-year yield curve deepens inversion, hits the most inverted level since mid-March. Okay, finally, some of our other headlines on crude oil. Brent crude futures settle at 84.25 a barrel, up $1.63 or 1.97%. NYMEX West Texas Intermediate crude July futures settle at 80.33 a barrel, up $1.88. That's 2.4%. Oil futures settle above $80 a barrel for the first time in a month. Let's head over to our Bloomberg headlines. Apple shutting down Pay Later. It's a firm rival after 1 year. Apple will no longer offer new loans via Pay Later service. S&P 500, 30th record of 2024 as mega caps rally. Home Depot's jumbo bond offering leads slew of debt issuers. Traders gearing up for Tuesday's retail sales and Fed speakers. A rally in the world's largest technology companies drove stocks to all-time highs, with some prominent Wall Street strategists rushing to boost their targets. The S&P 500, read that. S&P 500 hits 30th all-time high this year. Citigroup strategists raised their 2024 forecast for the S&P 500 to 5,600, becoming the third Wall Street firm since Friday to upgrade its outlook. Ongoing positive earnings revisions and broadening of profit growth to non-tech companies prompted the target upgrade, Citi strategists led by Scott Cronert wrote. In recent days, Goldman Sachs Group Inc. strategists led by David Kostin also boosted their target to 5,600, reflecting Wall Street's optimistic outlook for earnings growth and the U.S. economy. Julian Emanuel at Evercore raised his year-end forecast on the S&P 500 to 6,000, the highest among major equity strategists tracked by Bloomberg. Meantime, hedge funds decreased their long-short gross leverage, which measures their overall exposure to the market, by the most since March of 2022, according to a note from Goldman Sachs' prime brokerage desk. The move points to a more cautious stance from the so-called smart money, the team wrote. While there's been no shortage of headlines about the latest record highs on the S&P 500, the highs have been less significant as a sign of market strength than as an influence on investor sentiment, according to Tim Hayes at Ned Davis Research. Quote, as record highs were reached by major benchmarks, breadth has weakened. Benchmark records are not confirmed by most markets, sectors, and stocks. Investors are being warned that rates will stay higher for longer than they'd expected, with a median projection from Fed officials calling for one interest rate cut this year. And yet cash is pouring into stocks that benefit from lower borrowing costs. The question now for investors is, what will the market do when the Fed eventually does decide to cut? Historically, rate cuts have marked a key inflection point that has ushered in strong equity returns, but only for cycles that aren't triggered by a recession like this one. Quote, improving inflation trends would lead to a more conservative policy outlook, which should be a tailwind for equities and fixed income, said Jason Pride at Michael Reynolds at Glen Mead. Assuming all continues to go well with inflation along a moderating path through the summer, a September rate cut is likely on the table. Some stock market optimists have speculated that a swath of the roughly $6 trillion sitting in money market cash is poised to be reallocated into equities and will give the rally another boost. But a growing number of soothsayers at firms ranging from Morgan Stanley to Deutsche Bank are poking holes in that theory. With generous yields on cash amid elevated interest rates, it's no surprise that inflows to money market funds just hit another all-time high. Yet, there's little evidence to suggest that cash is going to move into riskier assets anytime soon. Okay, guys, with that out of the way, I want to head over to Tradingview now and have a look at some of our Tradingview top headlines. Okay, guys, let's head over to the latest news on the indices. NASDAQ, S&P 500 log records lifted by tech stocks. That's from the Wall Street Journal. Technology shares propelled major stock indexes to fresh records. The S&P 500 added 0.8% and the NASDAQ composite was 1% higher. Both closed at records. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 0.5%. Treasury yields rose with the benchmark 10-year yield hitting 4.277%. Information technology was the S&P 500's best performing sector, with chip makers having a particularly good day. Broadcom led the way with a 5.4% gain, while Supermicro Computer and Micron Technology also outperformed. Monday's advance extended a hot streak for major stock indexes, which have benefited from increasing confidence in the economy and the prospect of interest rate cuts from the Federal Reserve later this year. S&P 500 is now up 15% in 2024. Pullbacks have been rare, and volatility has been exceptionally low. A flurry of central bank decisions, economic data, and speeches from Fed officials could inject some excitement later in the week. Central bank officials are due to meet in the UK, Switzerland, Norway, and Australia. Switzerland was an early mover in cutting rates. U.S. retail sales data for May are due Tuesday, offering the latest look at the health of the U.S. consumer. Economists polled by the Wall Street Journal expect a 0.2% increase in retail sales from a year earlier. Resilient consumer spending has helped power a strong economy and rising corporate profits. If cracks start to show in the consumer spending or the labor market, the Fed could slash rates sooner than expected, analysts say. We're watching the labor market closely for any signs that recent weakening might be accelerating as a signal for the Fed to lower rates more than currently expected, said Steve Wyatt, chief investment strategist at BOK Financial. Traders in interest rate derivatives currently see a roughly 65% chance that the central bank will cut rates by its September meeting, according to the CME Group. Despite 30 records for the S&P 500 this year, some investors are concerned about problems below the surface. More stocks have been falling than rising in recent weeks. The percentage of S&P 500 companies trading above their 200-day moving average fell to the lowest level of the year on Monday, according to Dow Jones market data. Big gains from index heavyweights such as Apple, Microsoft, and Nvidia have more than offset weakness elsewhere. The information technology sector, which has been the top weight in the S&P 500, is up 7.9% in the past 7 trading days. Okay, let's read some of our other headlines here. U.S. equities market rise. Tech stocks boost S&P 500, NASDAQ to records. That's from MT Newswires. Reuters, S&P 500, NASDAQ start the week bullish with record closes. From Dow Jones Newswires, Dow Jones Industrials rises 0.49% to 38,778.10. That's from Data Talk. NASDAQ Composite rises 0.9% to 17,857.02, 19th record close of 2024 from Dow Jones Newswire. S&P 500 rises 0.77 to 5473.23, record close from Datatalk. CoinDesk Bitcoin Price Index gained 0.18% to 66,621.67. Okay, guys, let's have a look at some of our futures headlines. CME hogs turn higher on news of China-EU trade fight. And then Cheniere Energy raises share repurchase by $4 billion. NYMEX Platinum Palladium warehouse stocks. Oil futures rise to 6-week high. Oil prices end with strong gains to build on last week's rebound. That's from MarketWatch an hour ago. And then from bar chart, crude rallies on dollar weakness and tight global oil supplies. Okay, let's have a look at some of our bond headlines. Treasury yields rise ahead of U.S. retail production data from Market Talk. New York late money rates from the Wall Street Journal. It's from Dow Jones Newswires. From MarketWatch, Treasury yields rise by most in over a week on brighter U.S. economic prospects. From an hour ago from Dow Jones Newswires, 10-year Treasury yield rises to 4.277%. From Dow Jones, 2-year Treasury yield rises to 4.759%, which is higher than the 10-year, an inverted yield curve. And then the 30-year Treasury yield rises to 4.409%. Okay, guys, let's have a look at some of our Forex headlines. U.S. recap, Euro USD perks up as selling frenzy ebbs. National Bank monthly fixed income monitor for June, fourth of 5 parts. Okay. From Reuters, dollar slips against euro as European political jitters subside. Dollar eases against euro as European political jitters subside. That's the same headline from Reuters. All right, looking at all of our headlines, let's see if there's anything interesting in all of our headlines before we move over to our gainers and losers on the day. SEC files complaint against Matthew Brown over alleged fraudulent scheme to invest $200 million in Virgin Orbit. Okay, guys, let's head over to the charts and look at our daily chart. All right, guys, natural gas is going to be the biggest loser on the day. Final print at 2.786. Latest headline reads, Nat gas prices pressured from elevated U.S. supplies. That takes us below the 20-period simple moving average. 4th declining day in a row for natural gas futures. That's due to an increase in nat gas supplies. Our greatest gainer on the day is going to be hogs. Hog futures. Hog Holdings early Monday strength is from bar chart. Reading this top headline here, lean hog futures are trading with Monday gains as contracts are up a dime to $1.115 so far in the session. USDA's pork cutout value was reported back lower in the Monday AM print, down $2.97 to 98.38. Okay, so hog futures, second day in a row, taking us above that daily 20-period simple moving average. Final print at 95.123. Okay, guys, some of our energy notables. Let's start with crude oil. Crude oil up second day in a row higher, trading above about 7 or 8 previous days, up above that 20-period simple moving average. Final print at 79.83 on the day. We've already talked about natural gas futures. Let's have a look at gold and some of our metals. Gold's final print at 2,333.7. That's below the 20 SMA. Trading into Friday's price action. Let's have a look at silver futures. Silver trading closing slightly higher today at 29.525. Silver trading below that 20-period simple moving average. Okay, guys, Euro futures are up today, bouncing off that lower Bollinger Band. Final print at 1.07 39.805. Euro futures are up on a bit of subsiding in Euro sector concerns. Okay, guys, let's talk briefly about our stock indexes here. NASDAQ, as you can see from a technical perspective, way up there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullish days in a row. We're now on 6 bullish days in a row, trading above the daily second standard deviation Bollinger Band, well above that 20-period moving average. Final print at 20,180 and a quarter. We do have retail sales tomorrow, which, if they come out bearish, might take us back down a bit. ES final print here at 55.4725, also above that second Bollinger Band. Also the 6th or 7th day in a row that the ES futures are up. Russell 2000. We do have an up day after a down day last Friday, still trading below that 20-period simple moving average, not having the same sort of success that the NASDAQ and the ES are having. Then finally, the Dow Jones trading right at that 20-period simple moving average. We had 4 black days in a row here on the Dow, now having a positive day. Final print here at 39,257. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for today's futures market recap. If you enjoy this content, you want to support this channel, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.